Yo, what's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earth Mac, the mad scientist. Welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media channel on another episode. But actually, this is not another episode. This is a first debut episode of Saturday Morning Comics. I've been thinking about this for quite some time. For weeks. Actually, for weeks. Been thinking about this for some weeks. What the concept will be, like how we're gonna do this, and who will my co-hosts be, and stuff like that. So, haven't found a co-host yet. You know, I'm looking for a specific type of co-host, but that is still in the works. But that is not going to stop the show, though. That is not going to start our Saturday morning live show, man. Because, and you might ask the question, why Saturday morning? One, because it's morning. Number two, it's on Saturday. And three, I'm an 80s baby. Because we used to wake up and watch Saturday morning cartoons. So, since that is no longer a thing, since Saturday morning cartoons is no longer a thing, how about Saturday morning comics? You know, how about we talk about some comic book news that's going on around here? What's been going on this week? Like the information that I've been dropping this week on our YouTube channel. So definitely going to talk about that. So we got a jam-packed show for you guys. Obviously, as you see on the thumbnail, we're going to talk about a new Batman series that is coming out next week, Immortal Legends Batman. And this Batman is a little different. Actually, a lot different. And also, there's some other comics we're going to cover as well, just like in the description below. Now, you need to hit that like, and you need to hit that subscribe button, and you need to hit that notification bell. And reason I'm saying that is, as far as the notification bell is concerned, because when you hit that notification bell, you got to make sure it says all. That means when all of our content is released, you will get notified, because when I subscribe to people or when I hit the notification bell, and I know everybody else is guilty of it just as much as I am, because when you hit that notification bell, you think that you're going to automatically get notified for everything that they do, right? But sometimes YouTube fixes though that you don't get notified on everything, you know? So you got to like hold it over the notification bell and like make sure it says all. That way you won't miss anything. You're like, well, I never see you put out any content. Well, have you been notified our content has been out? So that's what you got to worry about. Now, also, getting a little emotional here, right? Because a little nervous, because this is my first live show in a while, you know? First live show in a while, especially by myself. So I will say that to the people that have subscribed to this channel, man, y'all have made it very, very, very special. We are now at 496 subscribers. 496 subscribers for this channel, man. And shout out to each and every one of you guys. Shout out to the people that follow us on Threads. Now, if you have Threads, go ahead and give us a follow at Orange Phoenix Media, because we're going to go over some of these comic threads, because I asked the question yesterday. I asked the question, who are your top 3 favorite artists? Now, not who you think is the top 3 artists of all time, but who's your favorite, top 3 artists? And from there, we're going to go over some of the stuff that I covered this week, as far as Captain Planet and Absolute Green Lantern. So definitely going to cover that. And also, we're going to look at the polling, because there's a poll out, and there's only like a day left for this poll, right? There's only a day left for this poll. And for this poll, it is, what do you want me to cover for fans' choice on Sunday? Because on Sundays, we definitely covered Batman, Superman, World's Finest, right? And we reached the end of that because we reached the finale of the Devil Nessa saga. Definitely reached the end of that. So, but the 2 comics that we were going to cover, one out of the 2, you voted for. So you got Dr. Voodoo, and you have Mr. Terrific, the new 52 run. So you got to vote out of those 2. If you haven't voted yet, go ahead and vote, because right now, Dr. Voodoo is ahead. Dr. Voodoo is ahead, and I don't mind Dr. Voodoo being ahead, and I don't mind Mr. Terrific being ahead. That's why I chose those 2. So go ahead and get your vote on. And first thing we're going to cover today is what we covered this week. And what we covered this week is Captain Planet and the Planeteers. And we also covered Absolute Green Lantern. Now, starting with Captain Planet. I will say, if you haven't read the current run of Captain Planet and the Planeteers, you definitely have to read that. Definitely have to read that. David Pepos is doing like phenomenal work. I mean, you got Space Ghost comic book run out there, which is great, by the way. And on top of that, there's a Thundercats run out there. The Herculoids are out there. Now you have Captain Planet, which is very different because Mati, now if y'all remember Mati from the TV show, Mati had the heart ring, right? So when he had the heart ring, nobody really wanted to be Heart. Now nobody wanted to be that character because you had fire, water, wind, earth, right? Everything that can physically do something. Everything that could physically do something. But Mati didn't get that much love. You know what I'm saying? Mati didn't get that love at all. But in this particular comic, though, Mati gets that love. I gotta find a picture here right quick and see if I can pull it up. Because Mati has telepathic abilities. And Mati was out here killing folk. Mati was out here like putting people on ice. Toe tags. You know what I'm saying? Before he found the ring, because he was actually knocking off poachers, especially what they did to his homeland. And he said, listen, if it was the old me, I would have ended you right then and there. But I had to change of heart. So I got to find that actual picture of Mati. But overall, issues 2 and 3 of Captain Planet and the Planeteers were very, very good. And I'll cover both of those issues. And the thing is for me with that is, how can I say this? I like the fact that Mati gets his shine, but I also like the fact that they highlight, you know, the dangers of the environment. And they do like subtle, I wouldn't say jabs, but like subtle things when it comes to what's going on in the real world, right? What's going on here, you know, stuff going on with the environment. Because a lot of people will be saying, when it comes to the environment, oh, well, you know, that stuff is fake. You know, there's no such thing as gas emissions and all this other stuff. Like, really? Because, like, if you go back to the 80s, like, let's take it back to the 80s and all this other stuff. The 80s was cool. Like, the 80s had some very, very good memories. The 90s have phenomenal memories. But let's not get lost in the sauce here, because one of the most alarming things, because this show called Cheers came out in the 80s, right? And one of the cast members of Cheers passed away a few months ago. And I looked at his age and I was like, wait. Shouldn't he be older than this? So I goes back and look at Norm's character and the guy that played Norm in Cheers and how old he was in Cheers. And he was in his 30s. He looked like he was in his 40s. You know what I'm saying? Or 50s or 60s. He looked much older. And this was back in the 80s. Maybe there's some validity of what's going on in the environment changed from point A to point B, from the 80s up till now. You know what I'm saying? So maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something you need to pay attention to for the people that, you know, don't understand the fact that the environment actually affects people. So here's one of the clips. He says, but when the ring found me, it purged hatred from my heart. And no matter what the cost, I'll never raise a hand in anger again. He's like, as a child, I once swore revenge upon the mining companies that stole my people's land. Like, Mati was not was not having it, all right? Mati was not having it. But Mati is not the leader of this group. Mati is not the leader of this group. Ashley Kwame is the leader of this group. So if you haven't read Captain Planet and the Planeteers, you definitely have to read Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Also, we covered Absolute Green Lantern. Now, with Absolute Green Lantern, let's backtrack for a second. So with DC Comics right now, they have the Absolute Universe, which is basically a different universe than the main continuity, but it's connected somehow, some way. Again, it's going to connect, when it comes to DC KO, which I cannot wait for that to happen. Who wins between this hero and this hero. It's going to answer the question, who can win between Batman and Black Canary in a one-on-one fight? Superman and Lobo, stuff like that. So the Absolute Universe, what the Absolute Universe is to DC is what the Ultimate Universe is to Marvel. And I'm going to tell you right now, like Ultimate, if you look at Marvel, Ultimate Spider-Man is top tier. Top tier. You know what I'm saying? Top tier storytelling, right? The only Spider-Man I've been hearing people read, or I've been seeing people read, has been Ultimate Spider-Man. Same goes to DC. I haven't heard of anyone really reading the original Batman series. Or I tried with Hush 2, right? I did like the story, but for me, it didn't have like the staying power. It didn't really have the staying power of me wanting like, oh, I can't wait for the next issue, or I want to read this whole entire run, because Batman Hush is an iconic storyline in the Batman mythos, right? Just like Long Halloween and Nightfall and stuff like that. But Absolute Batman, though, Absolute Batman is killing it. Is absolutely killing it. And it changes the story. It changes the narrative. Batman dad is not alive, but his mom is alive. And Batman is not rich. Bruce Wayne is not rich. He's really good at engineering. He's really good at construction and building things. Like his cape actually clings to walls. His cape can actually stab people. Like the Batman ears can actually turn and kind of like stab you in the eyeballs. And on top of that, the emblem on his chest is a giant axe if he needs to use it. And this man is over 200 plus pounds of straight up unadulterated muscle. Now, he's really what his size is originally is what Bane's size is in the original Batman ethos. So, like, this Batman is moving kind of different. This Batman is moving a little bit more violent. Alfred is a whole nother deal. Alfred is a mercenary. Alfred is very good with guns. You know what I'm saying? So, Absolute Superman is phenomenal. Like his armor, and they talk about Krypton, and he's not the hope of Metropolis of anything like that. That story is different. But in the Absolute Universe, though, Absolute Wonder Woman, I'm gonna tell you straight out the gate, Absolute Wonder Woman is phenomenal storytelling. Like Absolute Wonder Woman, this Wonder Woman has been raised basically in Hades. She's been raised in Hades. She carried around pretty much a Buster sword, and you have to read that. You have to read that. I don't want to ruin that line for you, but you have to read that. But for me, Absolute Green Lantern is definitely something worth reading. As far as storytelling concerned, because when you look at Abin Sur, like Abin Sur is a different type of character, because I'm covering every single issue of Absolute Green Lantern. So if you haven't checked out Absolute Green Lantern, if you want to hear me talk about it, go ahead and check it out on my YouTube channel and our comics declassified playlist, because it's actually there. Every comic that I have covered is actually there. But Abin Sur actually comes to this small town and pretty much phases out people. He tells people, be without fear. And from outside looking in, it looks like he's killing folk. It looks like he's taking people out, putting them on ice. And the people that have been affected the most is obviously Sojona Malin, Hal Jordan, John Stewart. Those obviously the main three people of Green Lantern. So from that standpoint, Joe is the main character, though, because Joe is the one that have the abilities. John Stewart is gone. This town is surrounded by this green wall, so you cannot really escape. And unless you got like a certain color of a metal that can actually go through that wall. But Absolute Green Lantern is very, very good. You definitely need to read that. More issues to come with that. But the Absolute Universe, as far as DC, it is a breath of fresh air for the people that is coming in new comic book format. The Absolute series is a really good series to start with, especially want to like look at something new. You know what I mean? You want to look at something new, take a dive into something new and stuff like that. But you already know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. Now, I did go to the bookstore and I picked up some new books. Now, if you didn't know, DC has compact comics, and they drop at least 2 compact comics a month. And what are compact comics? Compact comics is DC storylines written in a miniature book format for only $10. And what I mean by that, right? So these are the books that I have recently. I got DC Frontier. This thick book right here is $10. Now, the DC New Frontier, there is an animated movie about this, and a lot of you have seen this movie, but maybe some of you haven't read the actual comic book, because in that movie, they did skip a few parts, all right? They did skip John Henry's part. John Henry's part is actually in this book, and God rest his soul, Darwin Cook. The artwork in this, the writing in this is very, very good. I finished reading this week. I can't believe it took me this damn long to actually read this book, okay? But the artwork is great. It got that 1950s look to it. And yes, it is based in that era of the 1950s. And you might ask the question, okay, this is the 1950s, right? Does it address that? Does it address, racism and stuff like that? Yes, it does. It does address racism and stuff like that, and the heroes and what they stand for, right? So traditional storytelling. I just finished this book, and maybe one day I'll cover this on the YouTube channel, But again, leave comments, hit that like and subscribe button. Now, also, the other book I got is Static Season 1. All right, $10 compact comics. McDuffie, Cowan, Davis, Dangle. Yeah, definitely get this. All right. I think this came out maybe a month, maybe 2 months ago. Came out 2 months ago. Also, I got All-Star Superman. Now, I know a lot of you have seen All-Star Superman, or actually seen Superman, and you want to know where they got this from, right? And I know James Gunn actually read a good bit of All-Star Superman. Again, this thick storyline is only $10. Compact comics. If you see the Compact Comics logo right here, it's going to tell you, it's going to automatically be like $9.99. So $10 plus tax, or whatever the case may be. So that really, really good storyline. Also, I know he probably dug into this one too, though. So this is another Superman, because I've been digging in a lot of Superman lately. And I'm enjoying the story because I had a preconceived notion about Superman. Like, Superman's such a boring character. I mean, how can you write about somebody that can pretty much do everything? You know what I'm saying? How can you make him weak? Obviously, after the Doomsday storyline, what else can you go from there? Because, Superman died, or whatever the case. So he got knocked the piss out. But either way, Superman Birthright. Like, this is another one. This is the latest one right here. Definitely check this out. If you look at the back, the artwork is phenomenal. Cannot wait to read this. I have not dived into this. So the next book after DC New Frontier, I'm jumping into Static Season 1 first. Second, and then I'm jumping into everything else. Now, there is another compact comic that I'm actually going to look into, and that is Kingdom Come. Now, for what I understand about Kingdom Come, because I have not read that yet, yes, I'm surprised because I'm more of a Marvel head than anything, is that Kingdom Come is one of the greatest DC stories ever told. I have heard that in nauseum. You know what I'm saying? But Crisis of Infinite Earths, that still is on the top tier list. You know what I'm saying? That's still up there with one of the greatest DC stories ever told. But Kingdom Come, though, I heard that storytelling is grade A. So definitely want to check that out. But now we're gonna jump into our threads. Now, I did ask the question, who are your favorite 3 comic book artists? Now, if you haven't commented in our threads, go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go jump into it, and ask people, what is your favorite 3 artists? So for me, it's Jim Lee. Obviously, you remember Jim Lee from the 90s X-Men. He did Batman Hush as well. We're actually working for DC at this point in time. Sanford Green, if you are familiar with Bitterroot, yes, that type of artwork. If you are familiar with the Doom solo series, well, I wouldn't say solo series, but the Doom one-shot, Sanford Green, that is him. That is him. And Dan Mora. Now, if you've been following our fans' choice with Batman, Superman, World's Finest, that artwork looks a little, I can't say Saturday morning cartoonist, but I can't say Bruce Timm either. You know what I'm saying? It's his own deal. Let me tell you about Dan Mora. I feel like Dan Mora doesn't take any time off. This man has been everywhere when it comes to DC. From Batman to Superman to Batman, Superman, World's Finest. And I think he's doing work on Immortal Legends Batman. I like, wow. Like, bro, do you sleep? Like, do you sleep at all? But yes, Jim Lee, Sanford Green, and Dan Mora. Aaron Williams, the writer, says, give me Doc Shaner, Chris Samney, and Mike Alfred for 1,000, Alex. MP Howard says Jim Lee, Alex Ross, and Tim Sale. And Nerd David says Andy Kubert, Dan Jurgens, which is very good artist, by the way. Very good artist. Mark Bagley, and I'm very familiar with Mark Bagley's work. Mighty Ming says Mitch Garage, Bilkis Everly, and Frank Quitely will never leave my queue. Awesome. Nerd Dave says Chris Ware, Daniel Crows, Charles Byrne. Ebony T _ PhD. Yes, she has a YouTube channel of her own. She has a YouTube channel of her own. She is in the medical field, but she's also a huge comic book reader and a huge comic book lover. And she says, you already said Sanford, and of course he's a favorite of mine, but Val DeLandro, Asaya Fulmore, and Smartin Bro. Definitely need to check these individuals out. Jay Perrin, George Perez, which I'm very familiar with, Michael Janine, and Dan Mora. Dan Mora has showed up a few times on some of these people's lists. And honestly, someone says Carlos Esquera, Howard Chaykin, and Bill Sinquist, and they actually gave like examples. Like they actually gave. I do like the fact that they gave out examples. I didn't even do that. And also Bernie says hello. Says Bernie Wrightson, Mike Minola, Darwin Cook. I already talked about Darwin Cook, right? Darwin Cook, Daniel Warren Johnson, Zoe Thorogood, Michael Watts is currently. And also, she's like, can I recommend myself? And still only 35 cents in the 80s. He says Miller, Byrne, Perez were the Holy Trinity. Jay Davo says John Byrne, John Romita Jr., and Alex Ross. Not bad. That's just a few of them. Man. Go ahead and follow us on Threads because I do ask these questions. Now, we're going to jump into some of the comic book news that's been out there, man. Some of the comic book news that's been out there, but I'm going to say Immortal Batman for last because I feel like that's going to be one of the ones that we talk about. But one of the ones we're going to talk about is X-Men Apocalypse, right? X-Men of Apocalypse. So apparently this is going to be somewhat of a mini series where you are familiar with the Age of Apocalypse way back in the day. We're talking like in the 90s. There was a major event called Age of Apocalypse, and Magneto was ahead of the X-Men, and Charles Xavier was dead, and Wolverine had one arm, and he was one of the most dangerous mutants in X-Men lore. Age of Apocalypse was okay. It was straight. But they're bringing this back. So basically, at the climactic end of X-Men of Apocalypse, Age of Apocalypse, this is what's going on. So we're gonna share this real quick. Just give me 1 minute. And this is according to Bleeding Cool. He said, we are getting the X-Men's upcoming Age of Revelation event, which renames and renumbers a host of Marvel titles. as well as the recently published Miss Marvel title, Giant Size X-Men, The Age of Apocalypse, as well as the new sequel series by Jeff Loeb and Simone DeMeo, X-Men of Apocalypse, which kicks off next month. All of the events of the 30th anniversary, which is quite a lot. And Marvel X-Men Group editor Tom Brevoort stated, the anniversary of Age of Apocalypse was the instigating factor that got us thinking about both projects, but it looked for a while like X-Men of Apocalypse wasn't going to come together in time, and this led us to build an Age of Revelation around that same anniversary period. Then, when X-Men of Apocalypse did wind up happening, we couldn't at that point move, Age of Revelation, as it spanned too many titles and too many projects. So we're just going to have to count on our readership and being smart enough to distinguish one from the other. And now to follow X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha #1. And this is some of the covers for this. Not bad. Not bad covers, man. So basically, X-Men of Apocalypse #1 delivers a showdown fans have been waiting for. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the X-Men of Apocalypse versus the Uncanny X-Men. And the X-Men of Apocalypse are here in the Marvel Universe. And that's a very bad thing for the Uncanny X-Men, taking place in the direct aftermath of the original crossover's explosive finale. X-Men of Apocalypse reunites the mission of its iconic realities X-Men as they journey here to ensure their universe's survival. This desperate mission will take them into the main Marvel Universe, where they will come into conflict with their classic counterparts, forever impacting both teams' destinies. It is a 6-part event, and he teases the return of Loeb's iconic co-creation, Nate Gray, aka X-Man. Legendary artist Arthur Adams spotlight Rogue, Magneto, and Gambit, the steamy X-Men love triangle that Age of Apocalypse made even more complex. And best-selling cover artist Fan Yang delivers a stunning portrait of one of Age of Apocalypse's biggest breakout stars, Blink. And the influential 90s superstar Joe Madureira continues his depiction of Age of Apocalypse, Storm, another creator behind the original Age of Apocalypse. Now, here's my thoughts on this. Age of Revelation. I don't think I'm gonna read that. I'm not even gonna hold you. I don't think I'm gonna read that, because X-Men just got finished with this crossover event between the X-Men and the Uncanny X-Men, and it wasn't the absolute best, like top tier of reading or whatever the case may be. I mean, a lot of people, in some ways glad that it's over and let's go back to brass tacks. Let's go back to people's separate storyline, right? But when it comes to Age of Revelation, man, there is a slew of books, right? There's a slew of books that you can read, and it gives like a timeline. I can look it up at some point. If you want me to, just say it in the comments below. But I don't know. X-Men of Apocalypse, I might read that. I might give it a shot, because if I understand this correctly, this takes place separate from Age of Revelation. This takes place different from that. And they said in this article that we are counting on readership. They are counting on you to actually read these comics, because at any point they can say, you know what, we're going to cancel that. We're not even going to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? So I do like the fact that Nate Gray is showing back up X-Man, because X-Man was a character that showed up in Age of Apocalypse. He showed up before the Age of Apocalypse. He was trying to stop something from actually happening. He was trying to stop Professor Xavier from actually dying. Because of Professor Xavier dying, that pretty much catapulted the events of Age of Apocalypse. But I don't know. I think, the Revelation storyline, I don't know. I'm just real skeptical on that. On how that's going to run. But I will say, though, X-Men of Apocalypse, that might have some promise to it. Going up against the classic Uncanny X-Men, that may have some promise to it. That may have some things popping off for that. You know what I mean? So I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully for successful. I do not pray for failure on anybody's comic book run. So let me be absolutely clear about that. I don't pray for that. But, you know, we got to be impartial. We got to be fair with this. And with Age of Revelation, I just don't get the warm and fuzzies about that particular crossover. I don't get the warm and fuzzies by that. X-Men of Apocalypse, maybe a little bit different. I'm still a little skeptical, but I will pick that up. Now, the question is, will you pick that up? Will you pick up X-Men of Apocalypse? Because that's coming out very, very, very soon. It should come out in November. And November is not far off. You know, November is not far off at all. I mean, we are closing towards the end of August. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, the next story is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it is called Battle Nexus. All right. So, and this is new. This is according to IGN. So now this was announced at San Diego Comic-Con 2025, right? So while Mirage Comics' version of Shredder will be one of the main players in this fighting tournament, it seems fans can expect many different incarnations of the Turtles to put in an appearance. Now IGN can exclusively reveal that each issue of Battle Nexus will include a backup story that pits the Turtles of the movies. We talking the 90s movies. The 90s movies, animated shows, the comics against one another, all due to the machinations of the villain, Mr. Og. The matchups features include the 1990 movie Turtles versus the Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series Turtles. Eastman and Lair's Turtles versus the Rise of TMNT Turtles. The 1987 animated Turtles versus the TMNT Adventure comic series Turtles. And the 2003 animated Turtles versus the 2012 animated Turtles. Now these are some of the artwork that we see right here. So, okay. Mr. Apparently that got to be Mr. Og right there. Okay. I like that. I do like the. Oh man. You know what? Yeah, I'm getting this. You know what? Let me get on my soapbox real quick. Let me just say, y'all remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters, right? That was on Sega Genesis and on Super Nintendo. And even though I'm a Sega head, I will definitely tell you that Super Nintendo version was better. I'm not even gonna hold you. Graphically, it looked better. You know, that's neither here or there. But we have enough characters in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mythos that we can effectively have a good video game, a good Ninja Turtles fighting game. Not like real cartoony, man. I mean, hell, if you can have, you know, the same guys that developed Injustice, same guys that developed Mortal Kombat, you know, NetherRealm. You can actually do that, or you can go back to brass tacks. You could actually go back to a point where it can look more like Invincible or Tokon or whatever the case may be, or like Marvel vs. Capcom in a way. Because I feel like if you have a Ninja Turtles fighting game, people will buy that. It will sell like hotcakes. And honestly, what better way to release it? I mean, obviously it's too late now because the 35th anniversary of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, it did so well in the movies as far as re-releases is concerned. They extended the showings for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original movie, until August 28th. So if you didn't have a chance to go check out the OG movie in theaters, you can go check that out. You can still go to the movies to go check that out. So it's not too late. But To go back to this original story, it says these one-page backup stories will be written by TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures writer Eric Burnman and drawn by artist Sarah Meyer, with colors by Luis Antonio Delgado. And each issue of the series will feature a variant cover spotlighting these multiversal matches, with artists including Dan Schoening, Louis Joyce, Jim Lawson, Andy Siriano, Ken Mitroni, Kyrie Randolph, Emilio Lopez, and Ciro Neely. Now, it says, to quote, "You can't imagine my excitement when the powers that be asked me to play in a secret corner of the Battle Nexus and to mix and match some of my favorite iterations of the TMNT to boot." Now, Burnham tells IGN, "We got to play with the Turtles from every kind of medium, movies, TV, and of course, comics. And I hope to do so again someday." Now, I love to dig in and really explore the similarities and differences, and one-page comics can be challenging, especially with so many characters to get involved. But I knew my TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures collaborator, Sarah Meyer, would be able to crush it on the page. Since they pulled off that kind of magic before, add in Luis Antonio Delgado's colors, and it all results in the perfect dessert after the entree of the main Battle Nexus story. And wait, you will see who the ultimate champion of Mr. Ogg's sidebar Battle Nexus is, and I guarantee you it's not who you think. So obviously, I'm gonna just be 100 with you. I'm gonna keep it a beam with you when it comes to this. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be, and I'm one of them, this group right here, the OG group of the Ninja Turtles. That's who a lot of people think it is, because these guys were not afraid to kill. And if I remember correctly, Shredder didn't last long in the OG series. Like, Shredder took an L. I want to say Shredder took an L in the first, second issue or something like that. Shredder didn't last long. Shredder wasn't a mainstay. You know what I'm saying? So he says it's not who you think it's going to be. So that makes me think the least likely group of Turtles that's going to win, that's going to be the Saturday Morning Cartoons Turtles, because I think that's who it's going to be. I really think that's who it's going to be. I think it's going to be the 1987 Saturday Morning Cartoons. And hey, yeah, Mark Scott says, listen, I will be catching TMNT next week. You're damn right, man. You're damn right. You better check that out, man. You better check that out, man. So it also says, like, I'm so thankful for IDW and Nickelodeon for the opportunity to illustrate crossovers in TMNT Battle Nexus. And because my teammate Eric Burnham is writing it, you know there will be some clever and unexpected interactions between different turtle iterations. And like how tall the younger turtles must be taking their vitamins, and the sharp and sassy humor of Mr. Ogg, and breaking the fourth wall. As a turtle fan and artist, I'm geeking out because this series of strips features even more TMNT versions and styles than before, and I've got the pleasure of working again with colorist Luis Delgado in bringing these mini turtles to life. Now, our team is looking forward to sharing our excitement and love for these characters like you. Man, now, here's some of the cover art, though. Check out Shredder. Like, this Shredder looking all right. Okay. Shredder looking good. Shredder looking good here. Now, this is the one where I like right here. Like, Worlds Collide. This is very good artwork right here. I do like that artwork. Now, I feel like if Shredder is going to be in black and white, I feel like that's very clever. And there is an animated movie where at least the 1987 version of the Turtles and the 2003, if I'm not mistaken, Turtles are interacting with each other. So there is an animated movie out there like that. But not all the Turtles are included in this. Like, even the original Ninja Turtles, the violent ones, the ones that don't have a sense of humor, like, they were in that movie as well. Okay, Leonardo versus the Shredder. Yeah, I'm buying this. I'm definitely getting this. Metalhead. I'm definitely getting this. Battle Nexus. Absolutely. Now, Battle Nexus #1 releases November the 12th with the final order cutoff of October the 6th. Now, you can pre-order a copy at the local comic book shop, and you can read IDW's TMNT comics in 2025 as well. Now, if you want to know where can you read some comics digitally, and if you want to go look at some comics, go to your local comic book store for one. If you want to go get a physical copy of Ninja Turtles. Now, if you want a digital copy, there's an app called Global Comics, right? Called Global Comics, and it's COMIX, I think. Yeah, let me double check. Let me make sure. Yes, COMIX. They have Ninja Turtles storylines there. So if you want to read some Ninja Turtles, you can definitely read that. It is subscription based. Now, it's not just Ninja Turtles. They got Image Comics. They got Dark Horse Comics. They got all these independent comics, including DC. They got DC Comics in as well. They have everything but Marvel. Okay, so if you want to go check out some Ninja Turtle storylines, because I have covered some Ninja Turtle storylines on my YouTube channel. I covered Raphael. I covered Michelangelo, because in the current storyline right now, what's going on is the Turtles are separated. Splinter is no longer with them. He's dead. Raphael is in jail. Michelangelo is a movie star. Leonardo's doing his meditation. He's in feudal Japan. And Donatello is malnourished. And Casey Jones has been shot. So there's a lot of things going on. But they finally get back together. And they're going back to New York because someone is hunting them. And they're better together than they are apart. But it's not one of them situations where, oh, we find each other again. We brothers again. It takes a little minute. Okay, it takes a little minute for them to actually be on one accord, because let's just say Donatello has a dead rat on his shoulder and he calling it Splinter, and everybody think he's nutty, but Splinter is literally talking to him. They're literally talking to him. Now, there is something else I want y'all to see. Now, there's a crossover event. Now, this ain't current. This is like maybe a few months past, but there is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with a anime, and that anime is Naruto. Yes, absolutely. It is Naruto. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Naruto have the crossover event. So if you want to go check that out, you definitely want to check that out. And it's not Naruto Shippuden. This is like Naruto when Naruto was a kid and Sasuke was a kid, and you know, stuff like that. So you definitely want to check this out if you want to read that crossover event, because guess what? It's on Global Comics. It's on Global Comics. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and check that out, man. It did not disappoint. I did read the first issue of this. And it really didn't disappoint. I really did like it. I think it captures the charm that is the original Naruto anime series, and it also captures the charm of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because they pretty much embraced, you know, the ninja way, because obviously they're in the village. They didn't leave village, and Kakashi knows Splinter. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if that tells you anything, and yes, Shredder is in the mix. Shredder is there, so you definitely want to check that out. Definitely want to check that out. So the main event, we definitely want to talk about it. This is Immortal Batman. The Immortal Legends Batman, man. I'm going to tell you right now, man, I am super excited about this. This is definitely a new thing when it comes to Batman, a new mode of storytelling. And let's jump into it. Just give me a quick second. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. Yes. So this comes out next week. This is Immortal Legend Batman #1. Comes out next week. It's by Kyle Higgins, Matt Groom, Erica Durso, Dan Mora. That name comes up again. I'm going to tell you, this man takes no days off. He takes zero days off. Igor Monty, Becca Carey. Now, it says, as Power Rangers / Massiveverse creators reunite at DC Comics for Immortal Legend Batman, launching next week. Now, we have a preview of the first issue and the solicitations for the first 4. But if you want spoilers, you have to go to the original listen for that collection. So, I'm going to just say, let's look at, you see this? Look at this artwork right here. Look at this. Look at this, man. I'm just saying, look at this. So, this is all in issue 1. And this is Batman, right? This is Batman. So if you're confused as far as what the heck is going on with this Batman, this is Batman with Tokusatsu. Now, if you're not familiar with Tokusatsu, you are definitely familiar with Power Rangers. You're definitely familiar with VR Troopers, Superhuman Samurai, and the Cyber Squad. You like anything Super Sentai, that is Tokusatsu. So what if Batman was a Tokusatsu? What if he had like at a moment's notice he could just transform and boom, you got this character right here. So this Batsuit look great.
Yeah, they squabbling out there now.
Yeah, so check this out, man. And wow. I cannot wait to read this, man. I cannot wait to read this. And where is Bruce Wayne? Now, is this Bruce Wayne? We don't even know this is Bruce Wayne. Like, who's this kid? Who is he? So that's the thing I'm really concerned about. So it says that humanity broke the barrier between our universe and our universe's shadow. From the void came horrific apparitions that craved nothing but destruction. But from this terror, a legend was born, a warrior who found a way to access energy that binds our universe and the shadow universe, transforming him into a cosmic dark knight. This immortal legend was named Batman, and he fought to keep us safe, but then one day abandoned the war. Though this didn't disappear entirely, now they say he hunts a rose gallery of monsters. Now, this is a 6-issue miniseries. This is a 6-issue miniseries. And man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm just like looking at this. I'm just happy that like this is this, man. Tokusatsu, like ain't no better person to get on this than Kyle Higgins. Like Kyle Higgins is responsible for like Power Rangers, like the Power Rangers comics. You know what I'm saying? Like that run of comics. And that's when you find out that Rita went to Zack first to be the Green Ranger and not Tommy. She went to Zack first. Zack just declined. Tommy was the second choice. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you find out, man. That's what you find out. Like you see the Power Rangers deal with like PTSD, like deal with their issues, and you see where Rita deals with Tommy, like constantly in Tommy's head and stuff like that. But this right here, this is very, very different. This gives me Nightfall vibes. Like, you know, the Azrael Batman from the Nightfall series when Bane showed up and broke Batman's back and he had to give up the Batman mantle to someone else with the armor and stuff like that. But this Batman looks real tight. Look real tight. I'm real happy about that. So now, number 2 says Immortal Legend Batman is in deep space. It says the Immortal Legend Batman's strength will be tested when his hunt for the new breed of shadows leads him to the asteroid base of space pirates who decide the fate of their captors through physical combat. Outnumbered and without access to his powers, can the Immortal Legend Batman find a metal to survive, or will he be broken? Now, this is some of this artwork. Now, I will say, I'm definitely thoroughly excited about this. Now, there is a tokusatsu style, another tokusatsu style comic coming out, and it involves, oh no, it already is out. It's Godzilla. It's Godzilla, right? There is somewhat of a tokusatsu feel of the Godzilla comic that is out right now. You know what I'm saying? Think Kaiju number 8. Think Kaiju number 8, but with Godzilla. There's a comic book run out there. If you want to check that out, go ahead and check that out. But I'm thoroughly excited about Immortal Legends Batman. Now, obviously, it's going to be different than the Batman that we know. You know, as far as like detective comics, being the world's greatest detective and everything else in between. So it's definitely going to be different than what we normally see. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with change. I think that's what it's going to do with this 6-issue series. We're going to see how popular this thing is. Like, this is like testing the waters a little bit, because what if this sells like hotcakes? What if this is like the #1 seller, DC Comics? I don't think that's going to be, but it's definitely going to. What if it's like top 5? What if it's top 5? Will we get more after this 6-issue run? Like, what else is there? And also, is the 6th issue a grand finale? Like, is it a point where there's no more Immortal Legend Batman? There's no more use of Immortal Legend Batman. We wouldn't know that after the 6th issue. Hopefully that's not the case, though. Hopefully that's not the case. But I do like the fact that this is being ran. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do love that, because I did see this like a few months ago, and I was thoroughly excited to see that. But now we get some information on that. Now, we are at a point of the show where I'm going to do my comic book recommendations. All right? Now, comic book recommendations. I will say read the latest versions of Bitterroot, the latest storyline of Bitterroot. I would definitely tell you to read that. Storm. Read Storm. Okay? In Marvel, if anything you do not read, I'm telling you what you should read is Storm. That Storm solo run that's going on right now is great. Okay? Awesome stuff, right? Storm reaches a whole nother level of power. She's in a Thunder War right now. She's fighting other Thunder Gods, and she's about to go up against the first Thunder God that wears armors of the Phoenix and everything else in between. So you definitely want to check that out. Like, how would she win? Like, this dude is so dangerous, even Galactus himself. Galactus is aligning himself with Storm. Like, listen, we're going to handle these other cosmic entities while you go handle this guy over here. But Storm, really, 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 really good. Read Captain Planet. Captain Planet. Definitely read that. Now, I want to say, like, with I'm gonna give you a little bit of imagery of Captain Planet. Just give me 1 second here. So this Captain Planet looks different. It's not like not exactly the same. Yeah. Read Captain Planet. Yeah, read Captain Planet. David Pepose is doing phenomenal work out here, doing phenomenal writing, and it still have the essence of like the cartoon or what you remember. It does have that essence, so you definitely want to check that out. What I told you, Bitterroot, you definitely want to check out Bitterroot. Please check out Bitterroot. Support Sanford Green, David Walker, and company. You definitely want to read that. Definitely want to read that. That artwork is phenomenal. Definitely want to get in on that one. Also, now, as far as X-Men, I gotta catch up to X-Men. You know what I'm saying? Because of so many good comics that's been coming out. You tend to fall behind on some stories. Like, that's just going to happen. Like, you just can't read everything, And X-Men was one of the ones, because X-Men has always been my #1 priority as far as like reading, but it fell by the wayside. Not because I wasn't interested. It's just that there was other comics that needed my attention, and I wanted to cover out there because I just didn't want it to be an X-Men only comic book channel. I wanted other comics to get their shine out there. Now there is a VR Troopers comic book. Yes, there is a VR Troopers. So yes, it's very good. Very good. And I'm gonna move it all the way. Let me see. Obviously, I've been reading it, but yes, VR Troopers is out right now, so go ahead and check that out. Now, if you just say the VR Troopers and the Power Rangers exist in the same exact universe, okay? The VR Troopers work for the Eltarians, and if you're not familiar who the Eltarians are, think Zordon. Zordon is an Eltarian, and in the comics, Eltarians are somewhat colonizers. They saved the Earth, and they pretty much put their culture on Earth, pretty much. That kind of thing. And Rita is not a bad guy. She's not a all good guy either, but Rita was the one who actually gave the Power Rangers their abilities. and the VR Troopers and the Power Rangers did get into it when they first met. So you definitely want to check this out. Now, again, like I told y'all with Storm is definitely one of those comments you want to get into. Mr. Terrific Year One. Now, if you have not seen read Mr. Terrific Year One, I have been covering that on my YouTube channel. So you can definitely go ahead and check that out. I hope you guys read that. All right. Please read that. If you're not familiar with Mr. Terrific and you want to get a jumping off point into Mr. Terrific, Year One is a great starting point. And it gives you two different timelines. And it depicts that in the artwork. It gives you like the modern style artwork in the first part of it, and then it gives you flashbacks with that 80s type of vibe, like what happened with his best friend, what happened with his wife and kid, what made him Mr. Terrific, what was going through his mind, what was his first mission, and everything else in between. So you definitely want to check that out. Now, as far as Absolute Green Lantern, definitely want to read Absolute Green Lantern by Al Ewing. Phenomenal work. And I did have some yes, absolutely yes. Man, this is all gas, no brakes, and we are talking Black Canary, Lady Shiva, best of the best. Like, this is a 6-issue run, and it is straight up hands. Okay? Now, if you're not familiar with like DC Comics, like hand-to-hand combat, Lady Shiva is like, she's interchangeable. Sometimes she's number one. Like, she's beating Batman hand-to-hand. Black Canary is up there. You know, Cheshire, she's up. So what I'm saying is, you will see who wins the fight between Black Canary and Lady Shiva. They go one-on-one, hand-to-hand. No powers, no abilities, no screeches. And you get to see the training montage. You get to see Black Canary's mother train her to get ready for this fight. It's other underlying factors in this. It's not one of those things where it doesn't end and we're going to team up. We're going to unite ourselves against this common threat type of thing. No, this fight starts round 1, round 2, round 3, goes on. There will be a winner. They will be a winner by the end of this. So definitely want to check out Black Canary, best of the best. I did read that, and maybe one day I'll cover it. Maybe I'll jump into that and let that be like a fan's choice if y'all vote for it. Right? If y'all vote for it. But yeah, Battle Beast. Now, obviously, Battle Beast. Now, you remember what I said about Space Ghost? You remember what I said about that, right? David Pepose is doing phenomenal work with Space Ghost, man. And this is not your daddy's Space Ghost, all right? You know, this is not. This is Space Ghost. Definitely to check that out, okay? I've been reading some Space Ghost, and man, it is good, man. It is good. This artwork. Look at this artwork. This artwork is crazy. Crazy good artwork, man. And Space Ghost is not exactly an overly nice guy. But there's reasons behind who he is. But definitely, I cannot recommend that enough. Please go out there and read yourself some Space Ghost. And now, unfortunately, I have been looking. Now, it's not on Global Comics, but if you have like Kindle, the Kindle app, I highly encourage you guys to go ahead and check out your Kindle app, Comixology, and you can actually buy yourself digital copies of Space Ghost. Now, you can always go to your local comic book store, support your local comic book store, man. Those are my recommendations for comics you guys actually need to read. Now, for me, for recommending to myself, now there is a 4-part series called Imperial from Marvel that involves like this cosmic war. You got Hulk in this, like Planet Hulk, you know, his son there. You got the Guardians of the Galaxy. You got the Shi'ar Empire. You got the Skrulls. You got all this stuff going on. And I did read a synopsis of this, and I will be reading it. But one particular character actually grabs my attention, and that is Nova. So Nova, I have not read much of him, but I have heard that Richard Rider, the pretty much OG Nova, is one of the comics you need to read. So I'm actually going to go back and read some Richard Rider Nova, and there's a comic book run from 2007 to 2010, and it's a definitive deal. It's like a definitive thing, and maybe Nova will make an appearance in like Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars and stuff like that, because we already been introduced to the Nova Corps and Guardians of the Galaxy, the Corps, but not Nova himself. And obviously we seen Nova in Ultimate Spider-Man. I think we seen Nova in Ultimate Spider-Man, like Ultimate Spider-Man, the cartoon series. But Nova is one of the characters I really, really, really want to read about. So I'm definitely going to read about that and jump into that. So maybe the next voting, though, after, Dr. Voodoo, Mr. Terrific, I'm going to add in Imperial, and I'm going to add in Nova, that comic book run. But definitely check that out. So you guys already know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. And when you hit that notification bell, you make sure you hit all. Okay, make sure you get notified on all of the content that we put out to you. That way you get notified on everything that we do. So I greatly appreciate you guys. Love you guys, man. I haven't checked the subscriber count, but not before, but before the show, we had 496 subscribers. Thank you guys for the support. We will be back next Saturday for some more Saturday morning comics. All right. So until next time, y'all. Peace.